Let's start here,
Spike
Kelvin.
Lee over there.
We saw, they always say, like, a tie is like kissing your sister.
Okay.
I think it's like kissing your brother in the mouth. Like a tie nowadays. Talk about anticlimactic and not feeling good about watching a 40-40 Sunday night football game and not having a winner. But pray tell, somebody did win.
Who that?
And, people are like, oh, terrible tie. Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys are the winner with an A at the end. The winner. That's what I got out of this.
Okay.
Because Micah came to town with his big bag Green Bay Packers. The Dallas Cowboys were supposed to disintegrate and blow in the wind and, never be seen again because, my God, they let Micah go. They traded this generational talent. What are you going to do without Micah? Great players have been traded since pro sports has been around. It's no big deal. The Red Sox sold Babe Ruth, and they still have won championships, and they're still around, and they still sell out Fenway Park. Wayne Gretzky was traded. I could go on and on and on. People have been moved, and they move on. Let's hear Jerry gloating a little bit after the 40-40 tie on Sunday Night Football.
It's very simple. Right. Dak was indispensable in my mind. Right. And so, yes. And Micah wasn't.
There you go. And Jerry, I know a lot of people, look, Jerry has botched the Cowboys. I'll be the first one. I'm not a Jerry being general manager guy. They haven't won anything since Moby Dick was a guppy and since Jimmy Johnson and that whole what a disaster. But in this case, with already paying the two guys he paid, CD and Dak, he had no choice here. And he made the right choice long-term for the Cowboys. And last night was a perfect Micah's back still ain't right? Wasn't a real factor. He got a late sack. I don't know. Are you celebrating that? And then his vaunted Packers came to Dallas, and what happened? Nothing. They got a 40-40 tie with a bad football team nobody's expecting anything from. I think Jerry is the winner.
Well, first off, I'm going to show you something about that sack you just referred to. I'm going to show you that in 1 second.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Let me get to this. I hear everything you said. I can understand it, but you're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why. Micah Parsons, everything you just said, prior to last season, what happened? Dak was hurt. You got Micah hurt. DeMarcus Lawrence was in and out.
He wasn't hurt the whole year.
No. But I'm saying they weren't themselves. The last time we saw them comprised as themselves, they were 12-5, 12-5, 12-5. And I looked at the Dallas Cowboys. We all expected, all things given, especially with CD, you go, man, this offense should be good because if they haven't been anything else, at least the offense has been able to move the ball. Dak Prescott was an MVP candidate a couple of seasons back. You figure, okay, they can do this. I looked at it as you can be that and still have Micah if they found a way to make it work, right? That you didn't have to not have Micah. You and I sat here months ago thinking, oh, he's going to stay. He wants to stay. He wants to be here.
I was saying he should have traded. They should have traded.
No, I'm talking about well before that when he was out here talking about, I just want to be here forever. I don't care about the money. Now, slow down. If I'm your agent, hold on. Let me agent. Let me work my magic. So it didn't have to be without Micah. They could have found a way to do this. And because the reason I say that, I look at the Green Bay Packers. I said this about what Micah is. He's in a good situation where the Packers made the postseason last year and the year before, and the Packers are a good team. He has a chance he got paid handsomely to only have to make 3 to 4 plays a game. Maybe a sack, maybe 2 sacks, maybe a sack strip fumble, or maybe a tackle for loss. You just need to come in here and be a Von Miller, a JPP when he's gone to a few places. These types of guys that are specialists, they come in.
So when his defense gives up 40 points, the one sack is good?
No, I'm going to tell you why.
Okay.
He showed at the very end. First of all, he got quadruple teamed all game. I mean, they put credit.
Is that new? Is that new?
No. I'm saying credit Dallas's game plan coming in. Because they had people ready to chip him, a receiver, a back, 2 offensive linemen. They had him locked up in a sense, and he got back there a couple of times, 4 quarterback pressures. But he got the big sack that saved what could have been a loss. Dak Prescott was about to run in that end zone and end the game.
They lost.
What do you mean they lost? They tied.
A 40-point tie with the Dallas Cowboys is a loss for the
Well,
Packers.
no. They
Yes, it
literally
is.
could have lost that game, which would be huge in the record if you're competing with Detroit to see who's going to do what.
Yeah,
Dak
that
Prescott
tie doesn't help
is
you.
running into the end zone.
That's an L.
Except for Micah making a play that him and only 3-4 other guys in the entire NFL can make. So my thing is, Micah Parsons is in Green Bay to only have to make a handful of plays. He doesn't have to be a Ray Lewis.
I
Why
think-
would I have 15 tackles, a sack?
I think the way they paid him was not to make one play because it's more about. And you said the last time they were together, they were on a playoff game in Dallas and gave up a 45-piece to the Green Bay Packers. Like, he was on the field.
Mm-hmm.
You could sit there and act like he wasn't playing. He played that game.
Absolutely, he played that
and
game.
he was a part of that. And then when the season started, go look it up. They gave up 40-plus points in the first 3 or 4 home games. He was on the field. He was a part of that. And I'm not saying he's not a good player. I'm saying you can move on from people. It ain't the end of the world. Everybody thinks it's the end of the world when you move on from somebody. That's all I'm saying. Jerry got his picks. He didn't have to go leverage the farm with 3 players like they're going to take up 50% of the cap, and then it's harder to put together the rest of the team. So because he made a mistake with Dak and CD, he almost had no choice, and he finally did the right thing. We talk about Jerry all the time. He always bends over backwards at the end. This was the one time he didn't do it.
This is where we differ, though. To me, I'm looking at it as look at what you had plus what you could have had. If I have all of this, plus I have Micah, and he's only, 26, we're only going to get better. I'm looking at it as what we could have had and hopefully became. 12-5, 12-12, 12-5. We're inching. We're getting closer and closer. Maybe that's
why you fired Mike McCarthy, because they were getting closer.
Well, I don't know who they fired. They fired
but I'm
everybody
saying
and bring in Sean. I'm saying
no, but you just gave me the 12-5, 12-5, and the coach got fired anyway.
Right, but I'm saying this is what they do. I don't ever know who. They never fire somebody and bring in somebody where you go, who, look at that. They fire people and then bring in like
only one time
okay.
when they hired Bill Parcells. That was the only time.
I agree.
That was the only
that was the
time.
one time, and then they couldn't work because him and Jerry.
Exactly.
And
that
so
was the only time Jerry got a real coach.
A real coach where you're like, I'm not just going to just simply, yes, sir, okay, whatever you say. And they let that go. So to me, I just can't get rid of the best player. And I haven't seen any. The draft picks might not be good.
Well, they could be great.
They could be great. I don't think they will per se because you didn't get the haul you could have gotten. So that's my point, Rob. Ended with this. You could have got a bigger haul. You could have re-signed him, and now you have one of the best defensive player in the game still with your team who offensively looks really good, and you could have kept one of the best defenders. And to me, you also made a foe better in the Packers. So I just don't see the win in this.
I saw it yesterday. They won. Jerry won. Bring out the stogie
Literally
and celebrate.
Nobody won, Rob.
All right,
we didn't even win the viewer.
The Dallas Cowboys.
All right, Rob, so they're watching us right now, which means another thing they can do is what?
They can subscribe. All you got to do is hit that button, subscribe to The Odd Couple for some of the best sports talk content in the nation.
Facts, and while you're at it, they can like, they can comment, they can share. Do all that for us. We appreciate it. Just do all that right up in here.